Hey friends, thought I'd do a quick front yard spring video for you guys. Early spring walkabout, if you will. The Spireas are putting out more of their leaves now, really bringing out that golden chartreuse color, which I really like. One of my favorite shrubs here, the Spireas. And of course they will get those pink flowers on them later on in the season. I did give my knockout roses a short little cutback, or a shape up, I guess, if you will. So this one is the I'm gonna say it's a mix between hot pink and red, fuchsia, I guess you could say it's called. And this is that nice yellow rose that I talk about every year. One of my favorites, highly fragrant. And on a real hot day, like especially after it rains or the dew gets on it, I mean, you can smell that from the backyard. So and of course I forget the name of it, but it's a very very fragrant rose. Of course, right now, this time of year, we're working with a lot of foliage color. So we get this, it's not really coming out well in the video, but we got a nice burgundy color there with the golden green and then a darker green. And then if you want to say we've got blue in here, we could call this nice catnip here the blue, because it has that kind of has that bluish green color to it. There's another clump there, and I don't know why. Maybe it gets more shade on this end, which is weird. But the catmint in the other side of the garden, this one, as you can see. And we have, excuse all the onion grass. I'm going to come in here and put down plastic this year and really choke all that out and put some fresh mulch down. But I have cut and cleaned up around the catmint. This will get, later on in May, it'll get those blue flowers on it. And it'll be like just big masses of blue in between the shrubs. And if you're newer to my channel, when we moved in, the front border here in this landscape, it ended right in front of these shrubs here. So I don't know if you can get a bit better picture or idea of what I'm talking about. So the old border used to be there, and we expanded it this past summer, because I wanted a little bit more planting space, and I also wanted, I also do a border, so that, and as the shrubs and things got bigger, it had to be done anyway. So that is the reason we expanded it, mostly because I wanted to have more plants, right? That's the main reason we expand our gardens. But we had to do that, so the next layer in here, we'll go back over here, this was just put in last summer, is a, and you can see down here on the bottom, it's not leafed out yet, but it is down here. That is our Russian sage. So we'll have a drift of the Russian sage. And then also in there we have the sedum popped in here and there. Here's the sedum here. I need a weed around it, but it always looks good this time of year. It comes back reliably, and it also always comes back as a nice little clump every year. We added blue chip. I believe this is the blue chip. No, pugster. I'm sorry. Pugster dwarf butterfly bush. I think I did 2 purple ones, and this one here in the center is white. And they made it through the winter. You can see the new leaves coming back. that awful privet hedge I've talked about before. If you don't get this in time, it will be even harder to pull it. So you'll have to get I'll have to get a shovel and get that out. But again, mirrored on this side, we have 2 more knockout shrubs, or knockout roses. And the Spireas. And then we have more of the barberries. I'm thinking this year, maybe I need to move this one out. I don't know, I might just trim up the rows, and that'll be a lot easier. Just so everything has room to grow. And over here, we have another clump of that Nepeta. Nepeta or Catnip. It's two names for it. Also, in addition to our border here on the edge, last year we added, and these were 2 big clumps from the backyard, that purple Aster. If you guys remember the fall video, this is the purple blooming flower here in the border. So I was able to get, I don't know how many divisions in that, just those 2 clumps. And you can see how quickly they grow and expand. So I'd say it was probably half of this last year. Each piece that I put in, then I alternated that with obviously the lamb's ear. And of course, I always talk about this over and over again. I sound like a broken record, but my favorite annuals to put in this border are the French marigolds, the orange, and then the blue. I alternate with the blue Victoria Salvia. So those will be the 2 annuals that I add. Now I did in this border, when we first moved in, I did have the purple Pallas Heuchera. I bet you I had at least 15 of those that I alternated with the lamb's ear, because I thought that purple looked really nice against that bright silvery green of the lamb's ear. But only one survived. For some reason, only one made it. It was right here, and it's been there for, this would have been the 4th season. So I dug this up today, and I was able to divide that in like 4 clumps, and I'm going to be replanting that in the back garden, which I'll show you in a little bit. So yeah, that's how the front landscape is looking right now, this time of year, mid-April. And then I do need to come out here, obviously, and clean up weeds, but for sure, reshape and clean up the edge here. I was able to get out yesterday and mow after I painted for my mom, and I plan on doing probably the next weekend, maybe, an update on how their house is going, for those of you who enjoy that kind of video as well. This is the ugly here in the front. I really have to get in here and clean this up. But this is my ring of my circle of Russian sage. And then in the middle we put the orange Tithonia. It took me a minute to remember that. Which is that Mexican sunflower is another name for it. So again, keeping that same color pattern with the summer color, the orange and the blue. And then I've got a lot of blue Victoria Salvia this year that I'm starting for seed for the first time. They're looking really good. So I'm going to be putting that in this edge or border of this little circle garden, as well as the red French marigolds like I did last year. But I think this year will be even better because I will have more of the blue, which I'm really excited about. If you remember a few videos ago in the back, I told you we're redoing that whole back right side behind the garage. We're going to be putting our raised beds in there. So that area is completely getting made over this year, which means I have to dig up a lot of my perennials and roses and things that I have in that area. This being one of them. This was, I think I had this in the last video. I dug up this yellow rose here. It was in the back, so I planted it here. I don't know if it's going to stay there, but that's where it's at for now. This bed is a little messy from this week's tornado. For those of you that aren't from Louisville or from here, we did actually have a tornado here in Fern Creek that blew through a subdivision right down the road and did quite a bit of damage, but thankfully it didn't hit here too bad. These two clumps are the Annabelle Hydrangeas, and if you remember last fall, I completely cut them down to the ground in hopes to rejuvenate them, because if they've been here, this will be their 4th season, and they have not bloomed like they are supposed to bloom for me for some reason. So this is their last year. I'm hoping that cut down, and I hope that boosts them to want to bloom for me. But I don't know what the problem is, but like I said, if you're not happy with something in your garden, get rid of it, replace it with something else. And of course, I've been started last year adding the lamb's ear. And again, guys, I've got to get in here and clean this up and put some fresh mulch down. Back there is the butterfly bush. This is one of the older varieties that get bigger. Groovy grape is this variety. And again, if you're new, this whole line of whatever you want, it's mostly privet hedge, but this whole line here in between our houses used to be a big wall, a big jungle wall, for a lack of a better word, and it was completely just full of vines and trees. And I spent all last spring, that was the big project. Took me forever, all on my own, to get this big wall cleared out and cleaned out as much as possible. And I do have to say, my grandpa did come, and I think he cut down 2 or 3 trees that were a little bit too big for me to handle, because I didn't have a big enough chainsaw. So anyway, that was some work, and I'm still not happy with it. It's got a long way to go. I want all of this privet hedge ideally pulled out of here, ripped up. I'm alright with the trees, I guess. I mean, if they have to stay, I'm okay with that, but I really want all of this ugly brush, and especially whatever this is right here. Don't even know what that is, but I want that out and cleaned up. And then I'm thinking, if I can get all of that cleaned up and ripped out of here, maybe a nice hedge of either repeating the limelights, if you guys remember what they look like. They're the hydrangeas there across the front of the house. They get all those white blooms on them. I'm thinking about either doing those or another variety called Incredible hydrangeas. But yeah, that would look a lot better than what they had going on before. You can see that I cut down the grass, the miscanthus grass that I transplanted last spring. I think it is loving its new home. Didn't get quite enough sun where I had them before, so that's good. Another butterfly bush here. And again, all of this, I just kind of lost my mojo, you know, going into the fall, and then we do our big Halloween thing, and lots of projects, and we do a full haunted house walkthrough every year for our Halloween party. So around that time, a lot of my time is being taken up by all of that. But I think we're going to take this year off and really focus on putting the money and the time into getting the yard where we want it. Or I should say where I want it. Like I said, my husband, he don't really care. Which is fine with me. He's got his thing and I got mine. So, that is the plan for this area. And I don't know how wide. I'm probably going to take it out to maybe right here where this panel is, making the edge here for this berm or landscape, whatever you want to call this area. So that is the plan with that. I would say we could go through that gate right there so we can go into the backyard, but we've got a big block in front of it because the wind likes to push it open. Oh my gosh, y'all, look at this awesome car coming down. Pretty cool. I love the black and chrome. Anyway, ground cover ajuga is blooming. Do want to show you guys that. I think it looks really good with this green of the limelights. And you can see these two of the Spirea are different. They got a more of a golden color. And you can also see how big they get. So one thing I would recommend for sure, especially new gardeners, definitely read your tag information. Especially the part where it says it gets this big or this high or wide, so you don't have to dig up or move stuff around or make your garden bigger if you don't have to. So definitely pay attention to that. This is a Sedum. I forgot the name of it. But it's a nice chartreuse color. Lovely extension cord there that I forgot to get up. Again, a purple ajuga. And I've been digging up the ajuga that I had in front of the picket fence in the back along the sidewalk. One end of it completely died out, but the other was looking pretty good. But I think this year I just want a clean sidewalk because it kind of comes over into the sidewalk and doesn't leave much room to walk. So I've been alternating the ground cover, the green ground cover, with the purple of the ajuga. So I think in time that's going to look really good every spring. And then all year long the ajuga looks great. Clematis there. I need to get a trellis for. Here is my grandma's David Austin rose that I dug up from her yard, and it has been here. This will be the third season. So awesome pink one, very fragrant. I also have another one of hers down here that is also David Austin, but I can't remember. She couldn't remember the name of them. They're doing pretty good. Grandma is my grandma Shirley. She is the one that got me into all this gardening. I spent a lot of time with her when I was a kid, and I cannot thank her enough for it because, like she said, this is your therapy. This keeps you from having to see a psychiatrist and pay for a therapist and all that good stuff. So if I didn't have this, I don't know what I'd do. Everybody has to have their thing in this crazy old world that we live in. It's just getting stressful every day. And anyway, everybody's got to have that outlet or something that takes their mind off this world and all the negativity. And anyway, I'm going on a rabbit trail or down a rabbit trail, but y'all understand what I mean. Us gardeners, we know, okay? I don't have to explain it too much. You either have that or you don't. So here are the tulips coming back. They've been here for 3 years now. I think I showed you guys this in the last video, part 1 of the spring tour. But I thought I'd show you again. I love this color. It's gorgeous. And I love the lighter pink in there with it. Had a yellow one. I never bought yellow tulips, so I'm not sure how that got in there. But again, I'll be putting mulch down in here. Also, I'll be putting the plastic down and probably some like pea gravel or something in a round area here for my little sitting area. And then again, the wash tub fountain will go there in the corner. So that takes us back to the backyard garden. Only thing different this past week that I've done is I seeded some larkspur. I got a lot of larkspur seed this year because it looked so good last year, so I wanted to put that everywhere. So there's some under here. You can see the tag. So it'll be a nice blue and purple variety. Put some there. That's why all this stuff is in the garden, because I'm trying to keep the dogs from walking on it or digging it up. So that's what that is. And then I got poppies coming up in there. Those are the white poppies. I love the white tulips. Didn't have very many of those come back this year. Alright, so here is the heuchera. That was one clump. This was one big clump out there in the front border. So I was able to divide that into 4 clumps, or into 4 pieces. And I'm going to divide that, or put it along this border here somewhere, probably close to the lamb's ear, because I think those 2 colors together look pretty good. Alright, so let's see what else back here that we have to dig up. And I'm running out of time on my video, so I won't keep you guys much longer. So this area here is the area that we're going to be working on this year. Probably to that post right there down will be about I guess you could say a 4-foot wide planting bed. And that's going to be like a landscape bed like we have on the other end. I'm going to put, the plan is to put arborvitaes, not the great big ones, but the skinnier ones. I don't know if I'm going to put them in front of each pole of the fence, or if I'm going to put them in the center of each panel. So I'll have to kind of play with that. But then I'm thinking maybe some hydrangeas, the white ones, in between those, and maybe some, I got my white drift rose too. As a matter of fact, this is a white drift rose here, one of them. And I guess you could say this is going to be kind of like a moon garden down the side of this fence, if you guys know what I mean, where they plant nothing but white blooming flowers. So this is another piece of a white drift rose, and then we have one down here. Yeah, excuse the mushroom guy. I made that out of paper clay, and I just left him out here. But he was for Halloween. Another white drift rose there. So I've got 3 good clumps of that I'll definitely use. And I'm showing you guys the bad and the ugly. Like I said, we had wind. And then of course we got two rambunctious beagles that run around back here, and they like to chew stuff up and tear stuff up. So anyway, real life here. So that is the plan. And then these two things, the lilies, there is a peony here that will be dug up and moved, and my clematis here, the sweet autumn clematis, and all of these things that are in the border here. As you can see, I've already dug up a couple roses and a coneflower and moved them out there out front. So I'm really wanting to make this landscape around the pergola stop to where this Nandina is. So anything over is coming out, because this area here is where I plan to put my raised beds, my vegetable garden beds. So like I said, we'll have an L-shaped one here and then one on this side, and then we'll mirror two more on down, and then maybe one in the center. So and we might even do a fountain or I don't know, something nice in the center. So anyway, that is the plans for this upcoming season. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you hung in there that long, I know I did a lot of talking, and anyway, I just appreciate your time. So thank you for watching. Take care. I'll see you in the next one.